Picks you up off the ground, try it, you will see.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I hope that got you excited. Today's speaker is Paul Wesselman. Our speaker today has spoken on hundreds of campuses throughout North America, helping students and staff increase their effectiveness and enjoyment of work, school, and life. Paul Wesselman holds degrees in psychology and higher education and is known as the Ripples Guy. To thousands of people who enjoy his inspirational emails, texts, and tweets throughout the weeks. Please help me welcome Paul Wesselman.
Thank you very much. I am very excited to be here. I wanted to say good morning, but then I realized for some of you I needed to say good morning. I heard you come back last night. When I was packing for this trip, my buddy was over hanging out with me, and I packed earplugs and my noise machine, and I said, I know I'm going to need it tonight because when they come back. And he says, you're not hanging out with college students? And I said, no, but I'm hanging out with people from Wisconsin. They're going to come stumbling back from the bar, maybe a couple hours earlier than my college groups do. But sure enough, 11 o'clock, I heard you. Yes, I did. I'm very excited to be back in Wisconsin. I just moved away. I spent 20 years living in Wisconsin. And actually, I moved here, confession, I moved here from Illinois, and it was great to arrive here and discover you have names for us. That's fantastic. Yeah. I'd been here a couple weeks and somebody says, oh, you're a fib. And I'm like, I don't lie. I tell the truth. And then somebody whispered in my ear, I'm like, that is offensive. But of course, within a few months, you know, you pass the Illinois drivers, you're like, fib! Ugh! We'll be editing that out of the tape, by the way, just to... So I get to travel around, hanging out with college students, with associations, and with workplace stuff. And my 20 years in Wisconsin meant a lot of travel around the state. And when I found out I was going to hang out with you all, I started writing down all the parks that I remembered visiting when I was in towns, because one of the most awesome things for me from my childhood, I did a lot of summer camp work when I was growing up and was really active in a couple Parks and Rec programs that I'll tell you about a little bit. But so for me, being outdoors is one of the greatest ways for me to settle, even in the middle of winter, even in Wisconsin. And so Madison, Waukesha, Oshkosh, Appleton, Green Bay, Wausau, La Crosse, Eau Claire, Menominee, Beloit, Beaver Dam, Fond du Lac, Marshfield, Stevens Point, Hurley, Anago, Superior, Rice Lake, Eau Claire, Milwaukee, and Platteville are some of the awesome places. If you are here from there, thank you so much. Your parks are awesome. And the rest of you, I'm sure they're good too. I asked one of my standard questions that I always like to ask the conference organizing committee when I land here, is there anything going on in the hearts and minds of the people I'm hanging out with that I might not know about? Is there an issue in the association or in the industry? So last night I came over and was checking out the trade show, and I was talking to some folks and ran into a group of people from the committee, and I said, is there anything that I need to know that you all know about that I don't, because I'm not living here full-time anymore or because I don't work full-time? And the three of them sat there for about 3 seconds, and then two of them said at the same time, well, you need to know that Aaron Rodgers got injured Monday night. That is on everyone's mind. I'm like, of course it is, because I remember when I got my driver's license here, I had to pledge allegiance to the Packers. It's part of the deal. I'm still not sure what a Bengal is or why I'm supposed to root for them, but I don't. And for them, football, in Cincinnati where I live now, football not so much. They're Reds. They are very proud of those Reds, and whatever. That's all we have to say about that. So of course, when I find out that I get to hang out with some awesome folks who work in Parks and Rec, there was a TV show that came to mind, right, that I love, that I watch every episode of. So Oh, is that not the one you were thinking of? Because I'm thinking you probably have to put up with a lot of drama in your work, and aren't there days when you want to just bust into song? And actually, for the straight men in the room, Glee is a television show. And I think I may have just, but never mind, because you knew already. Shut up. You knew. Okay. So, of course, the actual show that reminded me of you guys is Project Runway. Because I'm sure people are constantly judging you and giving you feedback. Oh, you need to fix this, or oh, you need to do that, even if they don't really know what they're talking about. And sometimes you guys are like, oh. And sometimes there are people that you work with that you'd like to vote off. But you can't. I will say that I love this television show, and one of the reasons that I think Parks and Rec and shows like The Office resonate so well with people so widely is not necessarily because they say this is exactly what it's like to do this work, but they create characters that almost everyone knows somebody like that. And my biggest excitement about spending some time with you today is going to be at the end when I get to say thank you for some incredibly powerful things that you do to make my world better. But before we get started, there's a couple things I need to make sure you know. And the first thing I need to do is to teach you something bizarre and weird that's not going to make any sense right now, but shut up and trust me, okay? It involves needing your hands to be free. So I need, if you've got stuff, if you're taking notes, put it down for just a second. And I'm going to teach you 6 hand gestures that take about 90 seconds to learn. It's really quick, and it's going to pay off at the end of the speech, I promise. So the first thing, if you just start with either your hands in your lap or your hands on the table, and the first movement is you're going to take a breath in, and you're going to put your hands up like this. Okay, and the second one is a clap. Okay, so you're 1/3 of the way through. That's how good you are. Okay, so the first movement was what? And the second one? The third one is a little more complicated. It looks like this. Do that. And the fourth one is ha, ha, ha. Okay, do those last 2 again. Okay, from the top, we're 2/3 of the way through. You're doing great. Okay. The next to last one is Om. And the last one is whoosh. Let's do those last 2. Whoosh. Okay, put it all together, and I believe we'll have a Glee number, I think. Okay. I just made that up. Okay. And he blushes. Okay, from the top. Okay, give yourselves a hand. That was good. You did that with the hangover. The other thing I need to quickly explain why need to quickly explain is why I'm known as the Ripples guy. What happened after a presentation 15 years ago, I was talking to a group of student leaders, and I did an activity that we're going to do here in a little bit that involved everyone getting a motivational quote. And it's an activity that I incorporated in a presentation a million years ago, and I've been using ever since. And some students came up to me afterwards, and they were really fired up from the talk. They said, "This is really great, and I know I am so fired up, I think I could do anything, but I know it's not going to last." And the request was, can you come back to our campus every Monday morning and give us a pep talk? Not too early. And I said, no, but what if I could send you some inspiration? So I agreed with this group of students to send them an email that would have an inspirational quote and something to think about for the week. And I promised to send it for free, without marketing, as long as they helped me find cool inspirational quotes to share. And so I sent out the first one January 15th of 1999. And 75 student leaders got it, and a bunch of them within an hour had responded back with some cool quotes to include in the next one. And I named the email Ripples to focus on the ongoing impact that our daily actions have. And I had no idea that when I started sending those out that that would become my brand. And now I get stopped all the time. Actually, it happened in the lobby just now. Somebody said, "You're the Ripples guy." And I was like, "Shut up, I am the Ripples guy." And some people are embarrassed that they don't remember my name. And I am far more excited by the fact that people remember these little splashes of inspiration. So what was exciting for me was to get to name this keynote about ripples of possibility. And what we are going to be focusing on is this question right here. What is the smallest change that you could make in your work or in your life that could have the biggest impact on you being more effective? And I'm going to dare you throughout this presentation to daydream about the possibilities that exist. Not if you suddenly had the budget doubled, not if suddenly you got to hire a bunch of new people. What is the smallest change that you could make, or that your area, your department, your team could make, that could have the biggest impact on your effectiveness to deliver services, to fire each other up, to help the community enjoy services, parks, whatever? And what we're going to do is explore some specific things. I am not in the business of teaching secrets. Some people who do my work frame their work like this: I have all the answers. And I am now going to tell you the answers. And if you buy my book, I don't have a book. I'm not here to sell you anything. I am here to present. Oh, no, sorry. Was somebody coming in? Come on in. I'm here to remind you what you already know. I think that my work is so much more about reminding people things that they already know that they maybe haven't been making time to do. And to make this brief time that we have together most effective, I need you to have two things that you don't currently have right now. And one of them is a postcard, and the other is going to be a little piece of paper that on the outside it says, "Please don't peek." I know, right? And as soon as you get something that says, "Please don't peek," you're going to be like, "I want to peek." The payoff is better if you don't peek. Everyone put your right hand up and repeat after me. I promise, I will not peek. And what I would like is the people that are at the front little corners that got the stack of postcards and the stack of Ripples cards, if you could just take one of each and pass them around. And while that's going on, I am going to show us another video. I have found that video is a great way to kind of break the monotony of a presentation and give people something to think about. And I'm going to play us a really short video here that I found on a website. I don't know how many of you are ever in situations where you're giving presentations or leading meetings where you're trying to get people focused and attention and awake. How many of you are ever in that situation? I've got a website you definitely need to know about that has tons of cool, short, useful clips that can help fire you up. So if you are looking, it is http://www.youtube.com. Oh, you've heard of it. Okay. You may not know this, but every 60 days, more content is uploaded to YouTube than existed in the first 60 years of broadcast television. Every 2 months, more content is uploaded to YouTube than was created the first 60 years. And most of it, as you know, is junk, right? It was created as a way to, for a couple of buddies to share vacation videos. And it caught on. And actually, I'm going to take tangent number one of several to show you the video that caused it to go viral, because this one video, it's only 14 seconds long. And do you remember back in the day when it was all about the emails? You get the emails and it had been forwarded like 65 times. Somebody started forwarding this link and it caught on. It's a 15-second video of a panda chewing a carrot, and the 15th second is the payoff. Panda chewing a carrot. the sneeze that caused YouTube. If you've ever on another website that a lot of people have heard of, Facebook, where 1 in every 7 people on the planet is an active user. Let me say that again. 1 in every 7 people on the planet is an active user. Although they call it active user, logging in once a month. Whatever. Once an hour, at least. But there's a post, a lot of my posts are something called BuzzFeed, which is a great website that collects interesting stuff. And I found this website, this video, and it takes about 60 seconds. And it's one of the things my goal is to make sure you leave here with is specific things that you can do differently to fire up yourself and other people that would help you if they were fired up. As you're watching this, I'm going to check and make sure everyone got the 2 things that we need. So one of the things that I've gone to doing is posting on Facebook, but also on YouTube, a list of all the inspirational content I find, and I'll make sure. But if you Google the Ripples guy, you will find all the pages where I park all this. Right now I have about 20 of these little short videos that I use. And what's great about YouTube is these are designed to be shared. These are people put things on there that they want to unleash and share with others. And so as long as you're not taking credit for it, and saying, "Look at this video I made," don't do that. Karmically, very problematic. It's great, and I find these to pump up a staff meeting, to share at the beginning of a presentation, or to make a point. Did anyone not get one of the little Resist the Temptation pieces? Is there okay, there's a few people there. Is there anyone that still does not have the postcard? Oh, the front row here. Oh, did we? Oh, I started in the second row. I'm a bad presenter. We will get... if somebody has, where did these need? Okay, oh, there we go. Soup, 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 and excellent. I'll give you that, and everyone set there, those. Now you're covered? Awesome. Sorry about that front row. After I bragged about how excited I was that you were here, I ignored you. All right, so if you know what a resident assistant is in college, when I was an undergrad at college, I was in chair of the programming board and the school mascot and a resident assistant. I was involved in all this stuff, and my junior year of college, my dean of students pulled me aside and says, Paul, there's a master's degree you can get where you can be an RA for your whole life. And I was like, shut up, I'm in. So I went to Bowling Green, Ohio, middle of nowhere, Ohio, and earned a master's degree in higher education, which was basically about helping design learning environments for college students. And I will be honest with you and tell you that it was 2 years of taking a whole bunch of notes, 2 years of taking a whole bunch of classes, and I don't remember very much of it. But there was a theory about how to create a learning environment for students that I use every day and that I've been teaching for years now. And this guy, Nevitt Sanford, said that real learning can only take place when a student has the right balance between feeling comfortable and feeling challenged. If students don't feel comfortable, if they don't feel safe, they can't learn. So our first job on a college campus is to help students feel safe. And if we don't challenge them enough, they get bored. And we know in a classroom setting, if students aren't sufficiently challenged, they don't say, "Oh no, I am not sufficiently challenged. I need to give myself some extra challenge." No, they sleep, they text, they Facebook. The same is true in just about every workplace. That if our people that we're trying to motivate, inspire, if we don't get them comfortable, they can't do their best work. But if we don't challenge them enough, they can't do their best work either. So while I originally used this and applied it on a college setting, I will tell you, I think it belongs in the toolkit and the minds and hearts of anyone who is trying to bring their best selves to work, to school, to life. And also for people who are in the business of trying to help other people, whether it's your team, whether it's the community that you're trying to serve, to ask, because the problem is people don't naturally seek a balance. Here you are at an association conference where the job is to network and meet new people. How many of you either hoped or assumed you were going to meet new people and get new ideas when you came to this conference? Raise your hand really, really high. Okay, look around the room. Most people came here hoping or expecting to meet new people, to get new information. Raise your hand honestly if you are sitting next to people you came here with or you already know really well. Okay. Brilliant! Here's you, I'm going to meet some new people, and you walk in here and you walked in one of two ways. You're either like this, you came in a clump, you're like, "Oh, let's go, we gotta go, sit over here, we gotta sit over here." Or you came in alone and you were like this. This is you. I'll be you and you be me, okay? So you're watching and here's you. Oh, there's my people! So even in a setting like this, where presumably you know that you are here to network and that the other people around you are open to meeting new people, your default is comfort. And listen to me, I am not judging it, and I'm not telling you that bad. It doesn't make you a bad professional, it makes you human. Built into our system is a little message that says, stay alive. And so when we're faced with a situation between the comfortable path that we know the outcome, we know what it's going to be like, and the unknown, I'm not sure where this is going, I'm not sure how this turns out, we default to this one. And we, as students of life, need to be better at asking ourselves, if you are not right now consistently bringing your best self to work, if most days of the week you're not feeling like your best self is showing up, my first thought for you today is to wonder, which do I need some of? Am I out of balance in that I'm overwhelmed, in that I'm exhausted? Do I need to take care of myself a little more? Do I need to seek comfort? I did some research in grad school on professional helpers. I interviewed teachers, nurses, people who work on college campuses, and counselors. And I asked them, what would help you be more effective in your work? And I learned something about teachers, nurses, counselors, and people who work on college campuses that I suspect applies to a lot of people in this room. We helpers are awesome at helping other people. We are amazing. It is wired into us. And we are awful at taking care of ourselves. We put other people's needs ahead of our own with such frequency, with such intensity, with such passion, that what starts out at the beginning is, "Oh, can I help you? How can I help you? What can I do to make your day just a little better?" evolved over weeks and months and years of putting other people's needs ahead of our own into something like this. What do you want? I'm trying to help you here. I'm giving you the best I've got. And then you realize, oh my goodness, I'm becoming my mother. I found out that there's a lot of folks out there who need what I call reaching in skills. I tend to divide personal effectiveness into two skill sets. Reaching out, being more effective at connecting with other people, and reaching in and taking better care of yourself. And it might be, if most days you are not bringing your best self to work, one possible question is, what do I need to do to take better care of myself so that I can deliver my best work? But the same behavior in two different people might have two different sources. Because somebody who isn't bringing their best self to work, who maybe is performing less than their best, who may look like they're just sloughing off, the problem may not be exhaustion and overworked. It might be that they're under-challenged. They don't have enough challenge. They're not in the right spot, and it might be you. There might be something, you've been doing the same thing too many years. You got to mix it up. You got to find something different. Or you've got to find a fresh approach to what you're doing so that you can find the challenge to improve yourself, your program, your community, your whatever it is that you're trying to be your best at. So the question I will have for you at the end is, of these two things, which one would help you be more effective if you worked on it a little bit? And then I'm noticing, this is what just happened. Okay, so here's you in the room. You're like with me, and you're like this, just like college students. You're like this, and then you do this. And I noticed it just like there at the end. I was like, oh, I'm losing them. Time to mix it up. So we're going to have a practice session of our Glee performance really quick. So I'm going to have you put your hands in your lap. Okay, are you ready? On your mark, get set. I feel as the need to get my iPhone out and videotape you, but I won't, because some of you still aren't sure you want to be seen. You're still waking up. I know who you are. Okay, so we're going to do an activity here in just a little bit that is going to completely freak some of you out. You are about to get a message that you are supposed to get at this point in your life. If you believe in a higher power, I would like you to believe for the next 2 minutes that there is a possibility that you are going to get a message from a higher power. If you don't believe in God, that's okay. This is a message I want you to believe from the universe. And if you don't believe in the universe, that's okay. This is a message from Miss Cleo, your psychic friend. And some of you are too young to know who Miss Cleo, your psychic friend is. Shut up. So literally when I was in grad school and I had this assignment to develop a workshop for people who help people, and I spent 8 weeks coming up with a little content after having interviewed those 4 groups. The little presentation I came up with is still about 1/3 of the work that I do today. And a little activity I did, this was back when there were multiple fonts to choose from for the first time. Oh no, because it was on an Apple Macintosh. And I remember printing out the little sheet of paper. There were 30 people in my class, and so I found 30 little inspirational quotes, and I put each one in a different font because I could. And I printed out, and I cut up the sheet, and I gave them each a little quote and said, you're about to get a quote you're supposed to get. And I did this big drama thing, because I don't know if you can tell or not, but I'm kind of dramatic. It's a thing with my people. Stereotyping is bad. You're not supposed to laugh at that? Okay. Shut up. We'll have to do a whole diversity workshop tomorrow or something. We'll stick around and... There's like 3 people going, now what is he talking about? I meant... Oh, when I do diversity training in Wisconsin, it's like Catholics, Protestants, get along. And the Lutherans, when we're talking about who does guilt better, oh, my Catholic friends and my Lutheran friends, we can fight. Who does guilt better? And you know who wins that? The Jewish friends who say to me, we've been doing it thousands of years longer than you, don't even try. Ooh, he's pushing the envelope. But this little activity involves you getting a specific inspirational quote, one of 30 that come in what we call a deck of ripples cards that we get printed up now. And I just want you to believe for the next couple minutes that one of the 30 is meant for you. Because here's the truth. Even if you're not somebody who believes everything happens for a reason, I do think it is useful and possible to find meaning in things that happen. So even if you're somebody who just like, whatever, if this is a coincidence, let it be a coincidence. But figure out what use could this particular quote have in your life. And the catch is, the card you have is not for you. I know, right? I'm not the only dramatic one in the room. I like that. There was some rumbling. Ooh. Probably one of the best gifts that I can offer you today is the fact that every person you encounter has something for you, and you have something for them. Even the difficult to work with ones. Even the citizens, the little members that come in and me. The ones that you sometimes want to smack. That HR is like, don't smack. Right? I know those HR people are like, you can, it'll be a lawsuit. Well, it'll be worth it. Listen, working with college students for 20 years, let me tell you what I did learn really well. It's called the mental smack. So when they come up, you do this, you go, I'm sorry, now what were you saying? Yeah. But even they have something to offer you. And it might be, I am so glad I am not that person. Or I am so glad that this person is someone I only have to spend a little bit of time with and not a lot of time. Because somebody has to live with them. And if you have to live with them, I'm so sorry. So what I'm going to ask you to do right now is to take your ripples card without looking at what is inside the envelope, and twice at least I want you to switch with someone beside you, in front of you, or behind you. At least twice switch cards with another person. I know, you might have to, you can do it more, you can do it more. Okay. Bum, bum, bum. All right. So now, ladies and gentlemen of Wisconsin Parks and Rec Association, you are about to get a message you are supposed to get at this point in your life. When I have you open these quotes, I want you to remember this quote is yours to keep. I'm going to invite you to take a few minutes to share with somebody with you that you know, or if you want to stand up and turn around to somebody that you haven't yet met, do the little church meet and greet thing, and share with them what your quote says and either what reason it might be in your life or what meaning it could have that could help you listen, that could help you be more effective as a person, as an employee, as a team member, in whatever role that it might be speaking to you. And I'm going to give you a few minutes to do that now. Open up your quote. And take a few minutes to turn to someone around you. Groups of 2, 3, maybe 4, but not more, so that we have time to hear from each person. do me a favor. Thank your partners for that conversation. How many of you got a quote that was relevant to your life right now? I'm trying so hard. I'm doing a bad job of staying where I'm supposed to. Okay, how many of you, I forgot to tell you something. How many of your quotes did not immediately make sense in some way or the other? Listen, I forgot to tell you, sometimes they come early. So right now you're like, I don't know. You just trust me. If you hang on to this for a couple days, a couple weeks, put it in your purse, put it in your wallet, you pull it out, and you're going to go, whoa! I actually get that on, who was that whoa? That was like, was that Joey from Blossom? Do you remember? Did I just, whoa! I think I just, okay. In the 80s, there was the, oh, but Blossom is back now. She's on Big Bang Theory, and she is hilarious. Of course, I realized that Blossom is a fictional character, and it's the actress that showed up, but, you know, don't mess with my reality. So far from the topic, so far he goes. I want to tell you, if you would like to get this email, this is what I promise. Absolutely free, no marketing, 60 seconds or less. Before I send out these ripples on Monday, I time them to make sure it takes 60 seconds or less to read. This is the text version of Monday's ripples. The theme, each week has a theme. This week's theme, it was called Better. And as I read this to you, if you want to sign up, the little white piece of paper that you unfolded is your Ripple sign up. And you can either trust me with your email address. I will sell it to 3 spammers, but no. The only thing I do with that email, I promise, is put it in our secure database until you click unsubscribe and how to leave. But you can also, if you have a business card and you just write ripples on the back, I use that as long as it's not in 7-point font, your email address. Because I can't read that because I'm old. I found out this fall, I'm like, oh, you are supposed to be able to see those signs. I didn't realize. Okay. So I'm going to read you this week's ripples. It was called Better. On the pebble, there's 3 parts. It says, do the best you can until you know better. Then, when you know better, do better. It's from Maya Angelou. It's one of Oprah Winfrey's favorite quotes. She quotes it quite a bit. The bolder is a quote from Barbara Plechter, and it says, the real winners in life are the people who look at every situation with an expectation that they can make it work or make it better. And finally, the part that I write, that's usually 2 paragraphs, it says, if you are facing small or significant challenges right now, I hope you can dig deep this week to drum up the energy and inspiration to make things better. Rest when you need to, but as often as possible, seek the smallest changes that could have the biggest impact on improving the situation. Every step counts. On the other hand, congrats if everything is going just fine in your world. Especially if you've recently endured some ups and downs, coasting along for a while can feel so good. At some point, though, I dare you to ask yourself, so how can I make things even better? Listen, dream, ponder, and then take action. Even the baby steps can transform good to better and better to awesome. Are you in? Please, it ends, be in. So I'm very proud of the fact that ripples this week went out to almost 30,000 people all over the world. So this thing that I had no intention of becoming a thing has become a thing. And something very recently that I started happening, if you know Twitter, and you don't have to be on it, oh, which by the way is going public right now, so you can get online and buy your stock if you want. Twitter has an interesting backdoor that I learned about a year ago that allows people who have text plans, you don't have to sign up for Twitter to get someone's tweets. And every morning at 10 a.m. Wisconsin time, I tweet or text, for most people, I text an inspirational quote that is 1 text long. And if you would like to sign up for it, I'll put this up in my breakout sessions, all you have to do is text the word follow or the letter F and then space and then unleash ripples. And I realize as I'm looking at that it kind of looks bad. So don't see that. Stop it. And then instead of sending it, I'm over. I'm done. This is terrible. to that number right there. There are 6 actions that you can take in a split second to help you be more effective in your work or in your life. You already know these 6 actions, I promise. But they are going to be planted in your mind in a way that you can remember them forever. The first one is so obvious, breathing. Have you heard of this? It's a thing where everyone does it. If I ask you all to take a deep breath right now, it makes a difference. If I ask you at your own pace in just a moment to take 3 deep breaths, and as you inhale, I'm going to have you silently inside your brain say the word here, and as you exhale, silently say the word to yourself, now. So you're going to say here now 3 times with 3 deep breaths at your own pace. Go. Before every presentation, before most phone calls, before any difficult conversations, before I hang out with my friends, I try really hard to remember to take 3 deep breaths and each time say here now. The first time I say here now, I'm not listening. I'm thinking about a bazillion things and wondering if I have any new Facebook messages or texts or tweets. But the second time I say here now, I wonder, what would this thing that I'm about to do, how will it go differently if I remember to be here and remember to be now? And the third time I hear myself say it, I remember there's no other place to be. And there's no other time to be. If you haven't noticed yet, you are the most precious, the most incredible audience that I've ever spoken to, ever. If you haven't noticed that, it's true. If you haven't noticed that I've given you every ounce of energy because you're the most important group of people I've ever spoken to, because you're who I'm with right now. And if I spend 10 seconds thinking about the association that I was firing up last week, or the group of P&G employees that I got on deck when I get home to Cincinnati next week, I'm going to miss out on the most important people ever. You are more important to me than my friends I'm going to visit Madison this weekend until the end of the day. When I get done with my second breakout with you, you will no longer be the most important people I've ever hung out with. But you won't care then because you'll be off doing your next thing. This breath reminds me to be here and to be now. The second action is about connecting with people. How many of you, if I ask you to think about people you work with, people you serve, people in your neighborhood, people that you're in organizations with, church, social organizations, whatever, and people you live with, if I ask you to think of 2 or 3 people who, when you're around them, you feel better about yourself and your possibilities. For how many people is it pretty easy to come up with 2, 3, 4 names? Like the names come pretty quick. Raise your hand. Let me make sure. Okay. If I ask you to think about people that when you're around them, they suck the life force out of you. How many of you can think of a few of those? Yes. Don't look at them. Some of you are... Don't look around the room to see if they're here. Connecting is about reminding yourself that you are going to get to be around people that make you feel better, and you're going to be around people that drain you. Listen, you do not have to eliminate the people in your life that drain you, because some of them might be, I don't know, your spouse, your kid, your boss, the public. So there might be all kinds of people that you have to be around that drain you. Listen, can I convince you to spend more minutes next week with the people who make you feel better about yourself and your possibilities? And can I convince you just to spend fewer minutes next week with the people who drain you? Would that make a difference? Yes. The 3 things I like people thinking about when it comes to connecting: people who feed you, who make you feel better, people who challenge you. Because let me tell you, somebody's quote, is that quote somewhere close here? we were talking about this quote over here in the group. The world is the great gymnasium where we come to make ourselves strong. And we were talking about what that quote can mean to somebody. And that quote says to me, life is hard, and there's all these different things that you have to do, and some of them you're naturally going to be a 10 at. And some of them you're not going to be good at. And everything that you encounter in life is an opportunity to either help you enjoy life or to help you grow. And people who challenge you can be opportunities to get better at dealing with people who have that particular personality trait, who give you the chance to develop skills, patience, hope, assertiveness. And then people who intrigue you. I dare you to be more curious about people that you feel drawn to and to pursue it, because they have a lesson, they have an offer, they have a gift. I mentioned to you earlier about reaching out skills and reaching in skills. Sometimes when I hang out with a group, I'm just come in, fire up at the keynote, and leave. I'm very excited that they have me sticking around for the day to do some breakout sessions. And I'm doing one breakout session that is specifically about reaching out skills. And it's about, I think we called it Veggies and Something and Gifts, oh mine. It's about dealing with all kinds of people and being more effective at that. And so if that is right after lunch, I'm going to be hanging out over in the auditorium room, the one with the kind of fancy stepped seating, if you'd like to hang out with me there. The next piece of advice is about moving. You probably have heard that exercise is good for you. How many of you wished you exercised more than you did? Yeah, welcome to most people. Now listen, we've spent, and I know I'm preaching to the converted. We spend a lot of time and energy trying to convince people to move. You know, one of the things I think that the First Lady has made as one of her signature issues is getting kids moving, and she's built a number of cool programs. I'm still excited. I haven't done a color run yet, but I'm really intrigued by how many people in my Facebook feed, how many of you have heard of or participated in a color run? An organization decided we need to make exercise really fun and just have done some really cool things. And my Facebook feed is a testament to the fact that a lot of people who don't run marathons, who have not ventured out a lot, are doing color runs. And so I think that is so fantastic. But the big news about moving your body is not that you're supposed to exercise most days 30 to 45 minutes in your heart rate zone. Go. Where's the Oreos? The big, fascinating, awesome news is that when you strap a pedometer to somebody and you tell them to just don't change your behavior, just count how many steps you do every day for a week, and then you tell them this week, step more. That we find people, without changing their lifestyle significantly, add 10 to 20% of the number of steps they take in a day. And whereas we used to say, it doesn't count if you're not in your heart rate zone. Strap on a little thing and do it. Shut up. Unless you're in the fitness industry, and then I love you. But the reality is, if we can convince people to move more. There is a book out right now that's not Eat, Pray, Love. That's a good book I haven't read. But the book that I'm reading right now from Tom Rath is Eat, Move, Sleep. And this book is catching on really fast. I think it's the guy who did Bucket List. Don't quote me on that. It's a guy who's published a couple other bestsellers. Eat, Move, Sleep. And his thing is the small changes that we make in what we eat, how we move, what we sleep. And he said the real problem that the new research is saying about 8 hours of inactivity is not the fact that you're not burning calories and you're not moving your body. It's the fact that you're still for that long. And so this idea of standing up at your desk, taking 2 minutes an hour to go to the far bathroom, to go up the stairs instead of the elevator once a day, just those little baby steps are adding up to a huge difference. If I asked you, if I dared you to move more next week, could you think about where you might add them? This was the other image I was going to use. I couldn't decide. Running fast, running goofy. We'll try laugh. Laughter is the next one. By the way, you just did it, so thank you. I would like you to fake laugh for the next 10 seconds, very loudly. We're all going to do it. Only 10 seconds. I won't let us do 1 second more. Everyone has to participate, or we'll start all over. On your mark, get set. Fake laugh for 10 seconds. Go. No real laughing. Where some people are real laughing, stop it. Here's a rather shocking piece of news. Do you know that 3 minutes of hearty laughter, real or fake, is roughly the equivalent in cardiovascular exercise of 30 minutes? Cardiovascular, not calorie burning, okay? You can't be like, ha 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 ha. No, 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 no. When people laugh, it releases endorphins. It releases chemicals that build your immune system. It lets go of stress. We know that open heart surgery patients, when they are allowed or encouraged or forced to watch their favorite sitcoms and funny movies, they report lower pain numbers, and they go home from the hospital on average 1 to 1.5 days early. And when you talk about managing the cost of healthcare, and you talk about where people heal best at home, it is important. Where can you sneak some laughter into your workplace and into your life? We've got 2 more really quick to cover. We're doing fantastic. This next one is meditation. Now, when people hear that word, sometimes they think of folding themselves into a very complicated pose. Meditation can be that. But let me tell you my quick definition of meditation. Focused relaxation. Or, if you prefer, relaxed focusing. It is simply something as simple as taking 3 deep breaths, and on the inhale saying here, and on the exhale saying now. Please believe me that before every speech I give, I get nervous, I get insecure, I think they're not going to like me, what's going to happen, what if I go over, what if it doesn't work, oh my gosh. And I get nervous because I think I'm supposed to get nervous because I'm getting handed a paycheck to fire you up, and it's not like I have all week to make it great, I have an hour. And right before I go on, some of you may have noticed I did this. I went over into a corner, and I took 3 deep breaths, and I said, here now, here now, here now. And that little meditation makes a difference. Meditation can be opening a book of prayer and pulling out a single passage and repeating that over and over again. I used to think, I was raised Catholic, that rosary just seemed like the dumbest thing in the world. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed the fruit of the womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners now at the hour of our death. Amen. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. What is that? I remember my grandma, one of my grandmas carried it around with her all the time. Other grandma, when we were in church, she was saying that rosary anytime she could. After I took a 8-week mindfulness course that was offered through the hospital in Madison, that was part of Richard Davidson's studies on how the power of meditation, it suddenly made so much sense that repeating that over and over again, it wasn't about it. The roteness of it actually allowed you to go to a sacred place. But it just could easily be a little quote from a Ripples card or a picture. There is some fascinating research that says you pick 10 photos from your wherever you store your photos, and you put them in a place that when you want to feel better, and you spend a minute looking at those, they report that you feel better 2 days later. What could you focus on a little bit? The last one is releasing. And we carry around stuff. If I ask you to think about disappointments, frustrations, people that you've encountered the last couple days, weeks, months, years, a lot of us feel weighed down because we've forgotten to unpack. And one of the things that you will hear a lot about that I think is one powerful way to release something yucky is forgiveness. And I think that can be a powerful, hugely healing gift that you give not to somebody who wronged you, but to yourself. Please hear me when I say, I don't think forgiveness is the only way to release. You can decide to let go of something. One of the quotes that we tweeted out a couple weeks ago, I just cannot get out of my brain. It says that one of the most useful things you can do is learn to accept an apology that was never offered. Shut up. I've thought of 3 since I thought of 3 specific apologies that I never got, and I accepted them. 2 of them are pretty small. One of them is kind of medium, and it feels differently. I will tell you that my second breakout with you all is about dealing with challenging. Get better, not bitter, conquering challenges. And it's going to be specifically about how we can process, how we can accept, and how we can let go of little tiny things and big things. But my time with you now is coming to a close. And for some of you I will see in Ripples, and I'm going to ask that if you did sign up for Ripples, could you do me a favor and pass them in towards the middle, and that will make a collecting job a little bit easier. If you're signing up for Ripples with a business card or sign up, I'm going to ask you to do that. No, it's good. It's gone. You get it good. I know, exactly. We're all different. They're like, we didn't do it the right way. You did it the right way. Secondly, I will see some of you on Facebook and in YouTube and maybe in the breakout sessions. One of the kind of fun things, my new friends Lance and Kim are in the back videotaping this, and I encountered them this fall. I spoke over at Northeast Wisconsin Technical College up the road, and they videotaped my orientation, and we were able to put little tidbits online for the students. And I asked permission for us to videotape this so that you all could have it, if you would like, for $9.95. Just kidding. It'll be uploaded to YouTube in a couple weeks, and we will get you the links, and we're going to videotape the breakouts as well if there's another session you need to go to. But here's the truth. If you're not going to come to a breakout, if I'm not going to see you on Ripples or Facebook, this could be the only time that our paths were meant to cross. And I feel I have been thinking about this moment for several months, because there are 2 things I want to say. First, in relation to our topic, what is the smallest change that you could make that could have the biggest impact? It could be one of those 6 actions, because I need you to do them with me one more time, because if you haven't figured this out, the 6 actions were about breathing, connecting, moving, laughing, meditating, and releasing. Give yourselves a hand for that. See? It paid off. The last thing that I've been waiting months to tell you is to thank you for your work. You do not hear that enough. You sometimes have to learn how to translate me into thank you so much for the work that you do. You don't get paid enough. You have had to, the last few years, do more and more with less and less. But what you do in our communities, as far as helping people move, helping people grow, and helping people enjoy nature, makes our world better. I lived here long enough to remember how divisive things were getting. And I know this about my friends that lean left and my friends that lean right. We love being outdoors together. We love building community. And I really do believe that the work that you do is making my world so much better. Thank you for your time today. Thank you. Thank you very much. You guys are awesome. Thank you. Thank you.